Imagine yourself at a crowded American saloon at the turn of the century. Settle a bet for me, argued from brothel to barstool. Will a horse at full stride reach a gallop where all 4 feet have left the ground at the same time? Would you believe that filmmaking's mundane origin story begins here? The answer, of course, is known.
But did you know?
Yes, when a horse runs, all 4 feet will leave the ground. Edward Muybridge coming in clutch. These were simply still photographs, after all, it's 1878. But a peculiar thing happened when they strung these photographs together in succession. The brain will simply interpolate the motion between the frames and the images will appear to the human eye to be moving. The motion picture is born. A happy accident? A miracle? A curse? Who's to say? Also, who knew that our brains have motion smoothing turned on by default? Bleh. Movies are an art form and a gimmick. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk at the Sizzler. Good night. 2022 was a year where a lot of movies were about the process and magic of movies in different ways. Let's talk plainly about the film business and culture, an intersection of art and commerce, two things that evolve and exist independently at the same time. And if you don't mind, gonna take out 2 birds with 1 stone here. The cultural footprint that Avatar made was that movies for the next 8 years would be haphazardly and hurriedly post-converted into 3D movies. James Cameron believed in changing the methodology of 3D films, that you can create entire other worlds if you do R&D for almost a decade every single time. So the machine then takes the profitable part and replicates it with rigid callousness. My Bloody Valentine 3D, baby! But that's been happening forever. When business and art collide, as they have in the film industry for more than a century, oftentimes breakthroughs in technology become gimmicks. Game changers become thin echoes churned by an uncaring studio system predicated on profit management. The judicious corporate rot of time. Once you're hooked up to that content hose, would we remember Wizard of Oz if not for being the first Technicolor movie to have the gimmick of color built into the fabric of the film and story? The business and art can play in concert if you dream. A movie is a story and a show. How should a film divide between the two? Well, kiddo, that's the film business. Shoot, Gap Khaki Ad somehow gave us The Matrix. The making of this film contains a gimmick, defined here as a thing no one has ever done before. Okay, that's not quite true. Hoyt van Hoytema did this on Ad Astra too, but that wasn't a huge, large format IMAX film, and it certainly wasn't for the same purposes.
The jumping off point was okay. They don't know that I can bring a spectacle. It led me to ask questions about why humanity needs spectacle, why we're addicted to spectacle, which led me right to this theme of exploitation. For Nope, it became very intensely clear that he was the only person equipped to take on this type of spectacle, because I want to have a movie-making adventure that I want to feel like when Steven Spielberg made Jaws.
Effectively, what I can say is that we combined, we shot every day. We combined 2 cameras, from which one camera would capture infrared light with a very narrow bandwidth, and one camera would capture 70 millimeter film. And we would kind of overlay those images. At the same time, we would with our film camera, we would capture the color information and the grain information, all the rest of the information that we wanted.
I love when people Apollo 13 rig up feats of astonishing engineering. There's engineering miracles overlooked in a lot of films. This one included. Hey, rant time! How did this not get a cinematography nod? Hot take! Getting mad at the Oscars is dumb. End of sentence. Getting mad at the Oscars is dumb because they're a for-profit marketing tool, but still, Nope is a film that appreciates the art of filmmaking. It wallows in and celebrates the imperfect people trying to corral this wild beast into a marketable product. Because at the end of the day, all you need is a camera that kind of works to be there before TMZ shows up. Not now, TMZ! I've said it before, but movies are a miracle. Every time. The film literally climaxes at golden hour. It's about getting the Oprah shot.
How we put it out? Well, that's what I'm saying. We don't just go for the quick cash in, okay? We go to the most credible platform to do the story.
What's that, like Oprah?
Yeah, like Oprah, for example.
That once-in-a-lifetime thing that no one else can say they've done. You are the first to do it. And this is all a rose-colored way to look at the industry and the art form as magical, as earth-moving, as life-affirming, as Akira bike sliding. Which it is all of those things, but there is a darker aspect to Hollywood that this film will openly revel in. Magic ain't cheap, y'all.
Which led me right to this theme of exploitation.
Imagine using your fame as a child actor who experienced a serious traumatic event to exploit people out of their hard-earned money at an amusement park / museum thing.
And, boom.
Kid Sheriff? Bleh. Which brings us to Exploitation. For every horse in motion, there is a horse exploited. My boys, Nope has some thoughts on the current state of our beloved industry. Pull up a carpet square and pour yourself an ecto cooler. It's morphin' time. Exploitation here has double meaning as a hat tip to exploitation filmmaking, often ignored and uncredited for the ways it was groundbreaking, and to describe the way characters take advantage of each other in the situation they find themselves in. Our boy, Ricky Jupe, also exploits horses, buying them to sell off their decimation to an uncontrollable sky god in front of a live and very delicious audience. And Ricky Jupe thinks he's exploiting this predator, but as it turns out, the predator is exploiting him. You burnt, Jupe? You know, and TMZ shows up. We still exist.
What's the matter? Don't you want to be on TV?
You could easily make the case that this film openly admits that everyone exploits everyone all of the time. To win, you gotta play the game. It's about more than surviving. It's about actually building something, which is a point Hollywood has made for me beautifully because no one exploits IP like mega corporations do.
Look at you. And look at me. And look at you. Wow, this is so trippy.
I mean, if we already happen to live in an off-the-grid area of California and it just so happens there's a UFO that flies over / apex predator, you know, we'll get to that in a second. And if you don't exploit it, TMZ freaking will, so why not exploit that?
What's the matter? Don't you want to be on TV?
If the characters in this film can get actual footage of this strange flying object in the sky over Jupiter's claim, it will change their lives forever and would absolutely guarantee that OJ won't have to sell off his favorite horses just to become UFO food. The impossible is the only course of action that remains to our heroes. They must exploit the great animal in the sky as the Hollywood system exploits people like animal wranglers in the age of CG. Once it's more financially stable to replace you with a lower effort alternative, the machine will make its choice. Their business was already doomed.
You want to promote something? Promote this business.
No, OJ, no. First of all, that's not my side shit. This is.
It's all exploitation. It just matters who's on top. The Western is a fascinating and elastic genre. There's a protection element to it, a responsibility, the cowboy that must solve the problem for this group of people. Westerns are pretty simple stories generally, like Unforgiven is a simple story. I think there's a freshness you get with new filmmakers in the modern era who start remixing their most influential films into each other. A 1950s sci-fi western man versus industry kind of story. Also wacky, waving inflatable two-manses. Take old things, make new things. It's obviously not just a western, as modern filmmakers tend to play genre hopscotch with their films, and I enjoy that. Nope gives you a western, a horror, a family business drama, a 1950s exploitation sci-fi scorcher, a monster movie. But for this section, I want to talk about westerns. The cowboy who fought the monster, the anxiety-riddled brother who has 3 goals: rescue his father's business from financial ruin, protect his sister and allies, and stop the monster that is terrorizing his home and livelihood. No pressure, which is burying an obvious lead because, and I know I've harped on the Vista work in this movie, but holy hot damn, the Vistas in this movie are for the ages. And sure, while we're at it, yes, I tracked down this clip of Jordan Peele saying verbatim that this isn't a Western.
The movie is not it's not a Western itself, but
No.
it is in many ways about the Hollywood take on the Wild West.
I clickbaited you again. But when you hear the movies that inspired this one, Unforgiven, The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance, Once Upon a Time in the West, I think you can see something more magical. The film is less trying to be a Western and more comment on the way that Hollywood makes Westerns. There's that exploitation again. Nope takes all the trappings of a Western and goes to town with them. Can 2 people get the impossible photograph that the cinematographer did manage to get? He just didn't manage to live. And while talking about older films, I believe The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance is a great film to look at in one of the ways Nope falls short of a Western, generally being films that take place between the 1850s and 1900s and showcase how the American West is evolving into a society. Liberty Valance is a film where a small group of working-class townspeople lobby for statehood in the United States against the farmers that do not want to join the Union. Genres are complicated things. Nope is a film that takes place in modern times, though while witnessing characters get swallowed up by their own past as they come back to haunt them. Also, I'm being told most Westerns don't have overworked sitcom monkeys losing their patience and ruining a hot 90s show. What I'm saying is that Nope is a wonderful, beautiful film that uses the art of the Western to tell its story. It's a miracle. What do you call a bad miracle?
What's a bad miracle?
Hey, that's what I'm asking. Being fair, this is a question the film sticks in your head but never answers. What is a bad miracle? What do you call the impossible feat of events that leads to many people's demise? An omen? A calamity? A curse? Though in the end there is little use for the term as they get the shot they wanted. On Kid Sheriff's well camera. As you do. Theoretically, when this film ends, OJ and Emerald will be financially stable now. Something they definitely were not on track to be. They saved their late father's business, in fact. Because aliens. This film has a fascination with things that just happen. In the midst of a horrible and freak monkey attack on the set of a sitcom, a shoe stands impossibly on its own heel, cataloged and maintained in that position for the enjoyment of others for generations to come. This is a bad miracle. sort of like finding a terrestrial or extraterrestrial being that lords over the Jupiter's claimed sky and devours horses on the reg. It might not even be an alien, and jumping into the weeds here, most of the organic material on the jean jacket design is based around sea creatures, like the sand dollar or the cuttlefish or a jellyfish, once the monster gets all flustered. Just don't look at the predator in the eyes and you'll more than likely remain undevoured and digested by a UFO. But with all that said, you can look at this way. Focus not on the bad miracle for a moment. Here is a good miracle in this story. OJ has crippling anxiety and absolutely cannot look people in the eyes, especially when he feels at a disadvantage. It leads to numerous people taking advantage of him. However, once he realizes that the monster only vacuums up and eats people if you look it in the eyes, something they do tell you not to do with grizzly bears, and OJ wasn't going to anyway.
Nope.
Jupe stares in horror as he's sucked up into the sky. I think it's a really brilliant twist on the UFO story. The shape in the sky is an animal that is terrified and hides in clouds of its own creation for hours at a time. What's relevant to the story is not how to stay alive when confronted with it. Our hero's plan is to exploit that animal, take home that bag, and ensure their father's legacy. And one could speculate that this is definitely the part of the video where I do one of these and wax philosophical about the state of the world, which this movie very does. It's about more than survival. It's about making a life for yourself, your sister, and solidifying your family's legacy in an industry that erases black people from that history. I think Jordan Peele is an extremely important filmmaker right now. He's adventurous and actively tries to set up projects that will challenge him and his team of collaborators. I will never get over the photography in this movie. It's wall-to-wall an absolutely gorgeous adventure where our heroes prove their mettle. And here's where this gets a little weird, but is definitely in the fabric of the film. They can't just get a photo of it, they also need to make sure that nobody else can. And while morbid, it's hard to debate that when they mess up the entirety of Jean Jacket's digestive tract with a floating kid sheriff balloon, they ensure the value of this photograph. They kill anyone else's chances to get one. Including you, TMZ, sit down! Nope is a masterpiece. A film that tries on so many genre hats, it's tough to nail it down as any one thing. But at the end of the day, it's about two cowboys just trying to make ends meet. Because who in the world right now isn't doing that? And maybe that was all just a roundabout way to say, what's a bad miracle? Hollywood. Next time on Movies with Mikey. Still want that reprint though. Professor Gohord with the pineapple juice in the glass menagerie. I've solved it. A movie composed of false starts that are anything but. Rian Johnson is the one playing the game. You are the one playing the game. Doo-doo, I'm working. What's that? The next episode of Movies with Mikey is live right now, and it's about the fragility of wealth in the glass onion. But you don't have to wait until next month because it's live right now on Nebula. What's Nebula, you say? Well, it's what happens when creators get pissed off at being in the whims of platforms they don't own or have any stake in. Nebula is the creator-owned streaming service for big-time projects. It is the only place you can see Patrick Willems' feature-length movie. It is the only place you can see Lindsay Ellis's newer videos, and it is the place you can see every Filmjoy video a month before it comes out on YouTube. And it is one of the best ways to support this channel. If you use our link in the description, not only do you get 40% off an annual pass, but a portion of that goes directly to us. And it is thanks to Nebula subscribers that we're able to make bigger and better things. And just in case you need any more convincing, my link includes free access to Nebula classes where creators talk about how to create. Our friend Patrick has an entire class on how to make a movie. So go to nebula.tv/filmjoy to get your 40% discount and support the channel directly.